Hello, and welcome to Sound Off with System 1. I'm your host, Krista Kornchuk, and I'm here today with our panel of experts to talk with you about evaluating your career goals for 2024. Before we get started, here are a few words about System 1. System 1 is a leading provider of specialized, highly technical outsourced services and workforce solutions to critical infrastructure, technology, life sciences, and government sectors, putting more than 650 employees and 9,000 contractors to work in the US, Canada, and the UK. As you're tuning in today, please join us in the comments. Rich from our marketing team will be monitoring them. Let us know where you're joining from and what industry you work in. And if you have any questions relevant to today's topic, please drop them in there as well, and we can try to answer as many of those questions as possible. And again, before we get started, I'd like to have our panel of experts introduce themselves. They're also going to be sharing their hot jobs, which you can find at the bottom of the screen, or by scanning the QR code. And to view all other available jobs, please visit jobs.system1.com. Savannah, we'll start with you.
Hey everyone, my name is Savannah Tessner, and I work out of the Tampa, Florida office. What I focus on for recruiting is predominantly the engineering and manufacturing sector. And I have a hot job I'd like to talk about today. I am looking for a production supervisor in Shakopee, Minnesota. As a production supervisor, you will oversee most day-to-day operations for your assigned group. You'll be responsible for the overall leadership and shift activities through final inspection in the manufacturing of glass for the food and beverage industry.
And hi there, I am Danielle. I'm the financial recruitment lead here in the Houston office. I am a part of a team that specializes in accounting and finance placements. Today, my hot job is a bilingual HR generalist. This is a contract to hire position located in the northwest part of Houston. This is with a client who is looking to bring someone on the team that is open to growing in their career. The ideal candidate would have 5+ years of experience in an HR generalist seat and would have payroll experience. The ideal candidate will also have ADP experience, although that is not required, and this opportunity is paying between $65,000 and $75,000.
Thanks so much. And again, to view all other available jobs, you can scan the QR code or go to jobs.system1.com. Without further ado, let's get started with our questions. Again, we are discussing evaluating your career goals for 2024. If you have any comments relevant, please drop them in and we will try to answer them. Our first question is, what are some common career-related challenges that professionals faced in 2023? And how can individuals learn from these challenges to set better goals for 2024? Savannah, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of remote activity, a lot of hybrid or fully remote jobs. So going into 2024, I know that working from home and working a hybrid schedule, we can get very distracted with maybe our dog, people knocking on the door. Distractions kind of just happen. So maybe just try to prioritize adaptability and continuing to learn and, be present when you're working from home.
That's great advice. I also think we saw a very up and down economy year. Positions, the job market, everything was a little up and down throughout the year. I think we started at a high towards the beginning and we're ending in what feels like a little bit of a low. And so writing out the stability of positions was difficult, but I think a way to balance that out in the new year is to do research on companies that you're applying to. Make sure that you're even a company that you're a part of currently, making sure that you're in the know of what's going on behind the scenes as much as you can be, and creating a space where you are as informed as you're allowed to be. I know sometimes things are happening at the higher level that we just aren't privileged to know, but there are ways to do research about your organization or about companies that you are interested in joining.
Thank you for that advice, trying to be present as my dog is interrupting our broadcast. So for the second question, what are some effective strategies or frameworks that professionals can use to set meaningful and achievable career goals for the upcoming year? Savannah, we will start with you.
Yeah, so I always like to mention SMART goals. If you haven't heard of them, they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals. This will really help you set things and know when you need to achieve them by and keep you on a great path moving forward to maybe your long term goals. So, setting those SMART term goals on shorter, more frequent periods will help you stay on your trajectory for, long-term visions.
Yes. And I think to add to that, getting people involved in your goals. Accountability is key. A lot of times we're doing a lot of things independently, but leveraging people in your space, in your circle that are going to hold you accountable to meeting those SMART goals.
Absolutely. I think sometimes we can just get distracted in the current project we're in and we forget to hold ourselves accountable for those long-term goals. So I appreciate both of your inputs. How can job seekers and professionals effectively deal with setbacks and stay motivated toward their goals? Danielle, we'll start with you.
Yes, this is something I'm passionate about. I think it's a unique opportunity for us as recruiters to be that middleman to encourage candidates, whether it be that we have an opportunity for them or just to lend an ear. I actually talked to a candidate this morning who is kind of just defeated and transitioning into a new space and just really appreciated that I was open to picking up the phone. So I think the best thing to do when you're feeling defeated, you get a rejection, is just recognize that there's good in that. As hard as it is in the moment to see that, there's purpose in a no, and leverage that no to determine how you can take the best next step forward.
Absolutely. I totally agree. We're here to be your support system, and I'm sure that you have other people in your life too that will help you, maybe a mentor, maybe an online group that are going through the same things as you. Also, every single setback is a learning experience. I know sometimes in the moment it could be very frustrating, but like I like to say, one door closed, two doors open. So you never know what opportunities are going to present themselves in the future for you.
Thank you so much. And Danielle, I really like how you said leveraging that no, because leveraging that no is the learning experience. What advice do you have for those pivoting careers and industries? Savannah.
Yeah, I would say just get the ball rolling. Figure out what this new industry is all about. Do thorough research, leverage connections, and try to network with people who have already broke ground in that industry. Also, when we're talking about pivoting, I know that your skills might be in question. Well, what skills can I take from this last job that will apply to this completely different field? I'd love to give a personal example. I was a real estate agent, and real estate and recruiting are kind of similar, but completely different. I can leverage my cold calling experience. I can leverage talking to people on a day to day basis, looking at contracts, and you'll find your skills too. The skills that you had in your previous job, they do apply, even though that they might not be the exact field.
That's a really great example. And just know that if you're, changing careers, you are not alone. In our last LinkedIn Live session, we had a live Q&A, and a lot of people came in just asking about how to change careers. So there's a lot of people in that boat. Utilize your recruiter. You're certainly not alone in it. And in today's rapidly changing job market, how important is continuous skill development? And what are some practical ways for professionals to acquire new skills in 2024? Danielle, we'll start with you.
This is such a hot topic. It's important to know that degrees are not everything these days. In fact, I again talked to a different candidate this morning who was looking to further education before gaining any work experience. And although that is certainly an option and may be his best option, there's definitely opportunity to look at job descriptions that you are interested in applying for, the roles that you're targeting. Look at what's required of those positions, whether it be a certification or a particular license. Sometimes those go much further than a degree does these days.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail right on the head. Sometimes instead of going and getting that extra master's degree, you can just do an online course or a workshop, and it's going to get you further than what the master's was going to do. And it's going to save you a lot of money too.
Absolutely. And this is a good time to shout out our blog. We actually just posted a blog about careers that don't require a college degree, a traditional college degree. So we're going to put a link in the comments. Check out that blog. There's also a lot of other careers that we didn't list that don't require a traditional college degree. And again, you're going to save yourself so much money, like Savannah said. What tips do you have for professionals looking to expand their professional networks and build meaningful relationships in 2024? Savannah, we'll start with you.
Network events. I'm telling you, go and meet people face to face. I know you can also leverage online platforms. I'm not saying to do that. LinkedIn is a great way to build your professional network. But sometimes when you're meeting someone face to face, that's a really great interaction for you. And your true personality is going to shine. And maybe you might get a job opportunity based off of that. So, network events, number one for me.
Yes. And to parallel with that, communication, conversations, whether they're online or in person. One thing that just came to mind is if you're meeting someone out in public and it's not even intended to be work related, go look them up on LinkedIn after. You never know what connection is going to allow for a potential career opportunity. And that doesn't mean just a job change, but maybe learning or working together in some way. Another thing that just happened today, it's been an eventful day, is that someone sent me a message on LinkedIn and used an audio message, which I thought was really interesting. And they sent an audio message and said, this is a personal message for you. And because it was through LinkedIn, I didn't think it was spam, and it wasn't. And she was just introducing herself through audio. So finding the new technology that is allowing for our relationships to be developed in more convenient ways is I think the route forward.
I like that. That's a really unique feature, and you don't see a lot of people doing that on LinkedIn. And, one interaction can really change the course of not only your career, but your life. So great advice. What are some practical methods for professionals to regularly evaluate their progress toward their career goals throughout the year? Savannah, I know you already touched on this, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, so like we mentioned earlier, SMART goals are a great way. Set those milestones and hold yourself accountable to them. Maybe set a little meeting with yourself. Maybe it's once a month, maybe it's once a quarter, maybe it's once a week. I don't know what kind of goals you're trying to set. But make sure that you're trying to stay on top of those goals and regularly reflect to make sure that your actions are aligning with where you want to be.
Yes. And yeah, we kind of touched on this, but bringing people into your goals, making them achievable, setting calendar reminders to be reflective regularly. Those are all helpful things. It's also important to make sure, sometimes I think we're influenced by the world and we set goals that maybe aren't even applicable to where we're trying to go. And so evaluating the purpose in your goals and making sure that they're actually steps in a direction that you are trying to take.
Absolutely. And our goals always change too. So reevaluating is super important. And for those actively seeking new job opportunities, what advice do you have for crafting a standout resume and acing interviews in 2024? Danielle, we'll start with you.
Yeah. So one of the things that comes to mind is creating a message, whether it be an intentional objective message or a cover letter. Although those aren't always required, they can really be a helpful resource in getting your story across. As a recruiter, we're looking at resumes all day, but the message that you intentionally send to the hiring manager really sets you apart.
Absolutely. I would also say if there's a job that you really, really want, it's your dream job, and you really want your resume to stand out, maybe tailor your resume just for that one specific job. Go through their job post, find those keywords, and make sure you implement those in your job descriptions when you're talking about your prior positions. That will definitely help you stand out. And I know we're getting a lot more AI sifting through our resumes. So having those keywords that match the job description will pop you for a good, a good candidate for the position. Also, like Danielle said, it's great. Do a cover letter. If we're not trying to tailor a resume or we're just trying to blast out and see what sticks, maybe a cover letter is the way to go. You write something short and simple and personable, and that can be just as effective.
Absolutely. I think we forget about cover letters. So thank you for that shout out. And utilizing AI is certainly important. We are out of time for today, but thank you to our panel and thank you for everyone that commented. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for more free job resources and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always go back and watch these lives. Our next Sound Off with System 1 live stream is Friday, January 5th in 2024. This is our last one of the year. It will be at 2 p.m. and we will be discussing skills you need to cultivate in 2024. We'll see you then.